Hi everyone, it's me, Finn. So, I wanted to do a real quick tutorial on my cheek products. So typically what I would do after my base in the morning, which consists of bronzer, blush, and highlight. Some days I'll contour, but for now I'm just going to cover those three, kind of like the central cheek area. So let's get started. Let's check here. So I currently have my base done. I have foundation and powder on. And in case you're curious, I am testing out some Ben Nye products. So I'm wearing their HD Matte Foundation in the color Naturel EB1. And then I'm also wearing their Luxury Cameo Powder, which is glorious. I actually really love both of these so far. But on to the tutorial. So I'm actually going to be using 3 products today: a blush, a bronzer, and a highlight. So to start with, I usually start with my bronzer. I love the Hoola bronzer. It's a little bit, it's a bronzer, but it's a little bit cooler, and it has matte. It has no sparkle to it. So I like to use the bronzer brush that came with it, which is this little guy right here. You could also use like this, something kind of domed like this guy right here. Use the Wet n Wild brush, one of the face brushes, or honestly, I've even had pretty good success with this big fluffy Real Techniques brush too, to kind of just, and with bronzer, you kind of want to, you're trying to recreate the sun's, like, your sun-kissed glow, basically. So you want it to touch, like, the high points of the face. So I'll tend to do it, like, higher up cheekbones to emphasize my cheekbones, and then a little bit on my temples, a little bit on my forehead, on the outer rim. Kind of bronze up the face a little bit. So I'm going to apply this. I tend to just sweep it on in little circles, sweeping up and out. Kind of sweep, sweep, sweep. Until I'm starting to like how that looks. And you can see it adds a bit of a glow. From straight on, my cheekbones seem a little bit more sharp. Oh, look at me just dropping everything. It's been a long day. Okay, so on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. And since people's faces aren't entirely symmetrical, like for myself, for instance, my cheekbones don't actually match. This one's much more sharp than the other side, so I tend to do just the hair more bronzer or hair more contouring over on this side to kind of help even those out a little bit. So once I like how that looks, then I'll take a little bit, not too much, I tend to brush it off, tap off the excess. And then I'll throw it up on the outskirts of my forehead here. Kind of working that back and forth and in little circles to blend. And then a little bit on the temples. And then whatever is left on the brush, I don't add any more product, but I'll just take whatever is left at the end and just kind of brush it right down my nose here, down the sides, to kind of help slim that a little bit, but I'm really not trying to contour my nose much. Just adding just a little bit of a shadow. So that's pretty much bronzer. I'll kind of just play with it until I'm happy, but it's pretty easy. Can usually get it done in about 30 seconds and just kind of toss that right on my face there. Boom, bronze. Okay. So then next would be blush. And I've currently been loving this Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso, like everybody on YouTube. I also love this, though it is kind of a hassle to open. So with this one, I'm actually going to use my Morphe M403 right here. Love this guy's little like apple dome brush. Take some of that. And then some people like to smile so you can see where the apples of your cheek are. Oh, creepy smile. I tend to just kind of place where it's going to be, and then I'll sweep up and back. So like starting with the apples of my cheek. This one's a fairly light blush, so I can kind of work with it in a couple applications and not go too overboard. And it has a glow to it as well, so it'll kind of add a little bit of that sheen, kind of work with the highlight. You can see kind of just blends everything up, gives a little bit more of a glow to the skin, a little bit more of a blush. This is a very pretty, like, peachy color. And if you'll notice, so I tend to pick up the product on one side, so as I'm dipping it into the product, I'll kind of tip it up. And then when I go to put it on my face, I actually spin the brush so the product is on the top. So then when I'm sweeping, it allows me to kind of sweep upward, whereas if it was downward, I'd be sweeping and it's putting more product down. You really want to kind of bring up to lift the face. Or at least that's what I like to do. Makeup's great. You can do it however you want, but this is just a way that's worked well for me so far. Swirl that up. Boop, boop, boop. Don't mind any various glitter that's on me. I tend to have a lifestyle that means I'm covered in glitter. I'll let y'all figure out what that means. Okay. A little bit of blush, a little bit of blush, boom, boom. Easy peasy. And then my favorite part is highlighting. Emphasize those cheekbones. So I've been using the Becca highlight in Opal. Oh my god, this stuff is incredible. Let me just swatch this real quick for you. Look at that. Look at how pretty she is. Don't mind the swatches on me from the previous video. I couldn't get that waterproof eyeliner off. Which is good on the eyeliner. Look at how pretty. Ah, just want to rub this everywhere. Okay. So I take a little bit of fan brush, typically for my highlight, especially the softer ones like this. This one is the Morphe fan brush. Came in a pack, it doesn't have a name other than Morphe. Take that, hit off the excess, got a little too much. And then I take this and just touching the high points of my face, just kind of sweep that on and sweep it back. I'll kind of move that in circles. Fan brushes are nice because it really just hits those high points. Boom, adds that glow, dewy glow. Take a little bit. And tap off just a tiny bit excess. Really throw that on. Nice and bold, maybe just a touch more. I'm definitely one to accidentally overdo highlight because I just love to keep putting it on. It's just my favorite part. And I'll take a teeny bit as well and do it just on the tip of my nose. Some people don't like this. This isn't quite as big in the makeup community as it used to be, but I'll also kind of take a little bit and just run it down the bridge, kind of blend that out so it's not too strong. Some people also put it on their forehead, but I tend to get a little bit more oily, so I keep things off of my forehead because that's where they're likely to get oily on their own. I'll have my natural shine, and then just a touch, a little bit harder with my beard, but just a touch right here, and you can see that'll really emphasize the poutiness of your lips. So when you put on your lipstick, it really just adds that little extra bit. And then, if I don't have another highlight that I'm already working with, I'll take a tiny bit, usually on my finger, and then just kind of tap it right underneath the brow bone. Especially on days that I'm not wearing makeup or not wearing like a sparkly makeup. I'll throw this on to just have a little something extra without it being too overt. Most people prefer matte highlights under the eyebrows, but I like a little glitz. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I use pretty much 3 products. Use my bronzer. Love this guy. I've also been really loving some of the new bronzers from Wet n Wild. NYX has some really nice ones for more affordable drugstore options. And then basically every high-end brand is going to have a bronzer. The NYC Sunny is really lovely, and what else have I really been loving lately? Physicians Formula also makes some really pretty bronzers too. And then highlights, I love this one. I love my Hourglass highlight. If y'all want to see how I use this, basically in the same way, but oh, she's a beaut. Swatch her too. Look how pretty. A little bit of sparkle. So yeah, I got a little bit more of a yellow highlight with this one. I also have some like loose pigment highlights and some pressed powders as well that are like eyeshadow highlight form. And then I have some matte ones too, like this Wet n Wild one, which is going to be a highlight, but a like a buttery, creamy white one. And sometimes I'll put that one on underneath to lift everything, set my under eyes, and then I'll throw like a glitzy highlight right on top of that. But there you have it. Those are my pretty easy, really quick little extra things that kind of just lift up the cheeks and add a little bit of a glow and make you look all perky. So try it out for yourself. See how you like it.